sometimes we get these crazy ideas in our head of what we want to cook, something that's kind of unique and different. So today we're going to make a lobster roll French fry. That's right, lobster and French fry. This is probably the most expensive French fry I've ever made in my entire life. Let's go ahead and get down here and we'll go ahead and get ourselves started. Now, in a pot over here, I've got some water that I'm going to boil. That's what we're going to cook our lobster tails in. We're going to start with our seasoning spice for our French fries. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of celery salt. All right, we got our celery salt, and then we're going to take 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and we're going to give that a nice mix. We're thinking lobster roll here, so we're doing a lot of the seasonings for a fry that you would normally put on a lobster roll. Now we're going to make our sauce that goes on a lobster roll. In a mixing bowl, we're going to start off with 5 tablespoons of mayonnaise. We prefer Duke's mayonnaise, but for some reason our store locally no longer carries it. To that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of chopped dill. We got ours already chopped up at the grocery store. It's got a lot of dill flavor to it. And then we're going to take 1 lemon and use the juice of 1 lemon, without the seeds preferably. This is going to be like a lemon, garlic, dill mayonnaise. And then we're just going to give this a nice mix. Just use that same spoon that we had before. All right, and we're going to stick this in the fridge to let those flavors meld together for just a few minutes.
That really looks good.
Smells good though, doesn't it? You can smell that lemon and you can smell that dill. It smells really good.
I bet that'd be good on any kind of fish.
Yes, it would. It's time for our lobster to boil. Now we have 2 4-ounce lobster tails. The rule of thumb is it's 1 minute per ounce for your lobster tail as long as it's thawed. And that you want the inside to become a white, pinkish color and it to be kind of translucent and your shells to start to turn just a little bit red. So we'll go ahead and stick these into our water. And we're going to cook these now roughly 4 to 5 minutes. All right, one of the toppings we're going to stick on top of our fries when we're done is some fresh chives. So we're just going to cut these into little pieces. Again, it's one of those flavors that we associate with our lobster rolls. We've been talking about this recipe for a couple of weeks. Kind of popped in our heads like, oh, we've got to try this.
Been saving up our money.
Yeah. It is on the pricier side, but I'm sure at some point we'll come up with another fry that's just a little bit more expensive. There's a French fry in New York City, and it's $200 is how much it costs to buy it. They use a lot of fresh truffles to it and a special type of cheese sauce. But I'm not sure I'm willing to spend $200 on a French fry that has absolutely no meat on it. All right, we've got our chives chopped. They're not small chops. We want to be able to taste that onion flavor when we're done. We'll stick that in our bowl. We want to grate our cheese. We're grating 2 different types of cheese today. All right, that's good enough. Our first cheese is going to be a garlic and dill cheddar cheese. You can find this at your deli in the specialty cheese sections, and we're not going to use a lot of it because we're actually going to mix 2 different types of cheese. So this will give this cheese a nice grate. And then our second cheese, we're going to use the Gruyere cheese. And this is a little bit more on the pricier side when you go to the supermarket. But this is a good quality. If you actually look at the ingredients, the only thing it's got is your cultured milk, salt, enzymes, and that's it. You really don't want cheeses that has a lot of flavorings or preservatives in it. It's just not healthy for you. All right, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to not quite use about a third of that. And we're going to actually grate it, I think, just a little bit finer. Because it's a little bit harder cheese, it doesn't melt quite as fast. We've got some peanut oil in our deep fryer, and we're preheating that to 300 degrees. We're going to double fry our French fries. And like we've said in some of our previous videos, it makes it nice and soft on the inside and gives it that little crunchy center on the out. Makes it crunchy on the outside. It's been about the 4 minutes. If you can tell, that's become nice red. And see how nice and white that is? That means your lobster should be cooked. You definitely want to make sure that you cook that all the way. You don't want to get sick off any kind of shellfish. All right, we're just going to let this sit, and we're going to let it cool. We don't want to burn our hands, because we're going to shred this in just a few minutes. All right, going to move that cheese out of the way that we've got finished. We're now going to start our French fries. It's easy enough. There's just 2 of us, so we're just going to use 3 potatoes. You use how many of you want for yourself. Take the peels off. We're then going to cut them into our French fry slices. All right, we've got the 3 peeled. I'm just going to take a knife. Again, we just want to cut these into 1/4-inch slices, going each way. We want them to have just a little bit of texture. It's not quite as big as a steak fry, but it's still good sized. Once we get done with this, we're going to put it in some cool water, and we're going to let it soak for 30 minutes. All right, after your 30 minutes, you want to make sure that you put them on a paper towel or in a cloth, and you want to dry your French fries because you don't want that extra oil in your deep fryer. Now we're going to put our fries in our basket. We're going to cook this in a couple different batches, but we're going to cook these for approximately 3 to 4 minutes. We just want to make sure that they're nice and soft. All right, while those are cooking, we're going to go ahead and start our lobster process. I'm taking some of these nice little knives that comes with your knife set, or these little scissors. We're just going to cut that lobster. It's actually really soft, really easy. And we're also going to do the back side. But our goal is just to get the lobster out of our shells. Okay. Got that there. Now we're just going to take this, and we're just going to cut this into little strips. We're just kind of, that way throughout our fries, we'll have some lobster. And we don't want to be chintzy. That's why we had 2 4 ounces. If you're going to have some fries, you want to make sure that you have some lobster in it. Our French fries over here. Let's take a check with those. See how they begin to get a little golden brown? And your knife will go straight in it, really simple. That's how we want it. So we're going to take those, put them in there, let that dry off, and we're going to go ahead and then finish off our second batch. All right, the second step for double fried fries is once they're cooked, we're going to turn our heat up to 350 degrees, put our fries back into the deep fryer, and we're going to cook them for another 4 to 5 minutes. All right. Our French fries are now golden brown. We're going to let them drain just a second, but we're going to work fast here. We'll come into our bowl. We're going to top that with some of our seasoning salts that we've made. We're then going to top that with our cheese. And the reason we're doing that now is we want this cheese to have just a chance to start melting a little bit to the French fries. Mix that up. Stick that on our plate. I'm going to top that with a little bit of a lobster. And then our dill sauce mayonnaise here that we made. Should have put it in a squirt bottle, but you know, didn't do it. Then we're going to put a few of those chives on top that we cut it from earlier. And just a tad bit of dill, more dill. And there we have it. A lobster rolled French fry. You've got to try it.